You guys, I did it. After a year and a half of waiting for a PlayStation 5 and my chance to play a remastered version of my all-time favorite video game and favorite adaptation of Spider-Man, I have finally completed Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. So what did I think of it? Well, as I stated before, Spider-Man PS4 easily became my favorite video game of all time and my favorite interpretation of Peter Parker / Spider-Man. So I obviously went into this game thinking the story was a masterpiece, and the remastered version obviously did nothing to change the story. So the majority of this review will be spent going over all of the changes to the gameplay and graphics, small improvements, and some things that I didn't like so much. So let's get started. I want to take a trip down memory lane. The year is 2020. PlayStation had shocked Spider-Man fans across the globe by announcing a solo Spider-Man Miles Morales game, a move that absolutely no one expected, and I have to say, I was honestly shocked that nothing had ever been leaked for a Spider-Man Miles Morales game. But with that announcement came the reveal of Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered for the soon-to-release PS5. This sounded great. I could not wait to play my favorite video game on next gen. I expected the same game but with some amazing graphics and better performance overall, and that's exactly what we got. But we also got something that almost no fan wanted. Yep, I mean, you know where I'm going with this. Insomniac / PlayStation decided to recast the character model for Spider-Man within their games going forward. This was one of the most jarring sights for me to see. I spent nearly 2 years playing this version of Peter Parker, and now he has been completely replaced. It was so hard to adjust to this change, and I knew I would never get used to it until I was able to get my hands on a PS5 and play it for myself. And I have to say, while I preferred John Bubniak's character model to Ben Jordan's, I was able to get used to the change. The new face scan along with the PS5's technology really did bring a realistic face and was able to perfectly capture the emotions of Peter Parker, especially during the final battle with Doc Ock. I was amazed at what I was seeing. If I had any advice for Insomniac going forward though, regarding the character model for Ben Jordan, moving forward I would tell them to simply make the character model look more like Ben Jordan. Because honestly, if you look at photos of Ben, he really does have a great look for a Peter Parker in his mid-20s. Seriously, give Peter this hairstyle in the next game and we'll be in good shape. I feel like the short and clean cut hair made Peter look a little too young in my opinion. But I have said my piece on the matter, and that's how I feel. I still wish it was John Bubniak performing Peter Parker, but it isn't, and I've accepted it. So let's get into the performance of this game. Please keep in mind that this game was my first ever PS5 experience, and I was not prepared for how smoothly this game would run. This may actually be more of a PS5 thing than a Marvel Spider-Man thing, but either way, I was blown away by the fact that there was virtually no load times. In the previous version of the game, if I were to fast travel across New York City, it would take me to a loading screen of Spider-Man on the subway that took relatively long. However, in the remastered version, the time it took to fast travel was almost instant. It had to be less than 2 seconds. I was amazed. This game also did launch with 2 different modes to play in. You had the performance mode, which featured 60 frames per second gameplay, and the fidelity mode, which had a higher graphical output and introduced ray tracing that gave us the ability to see reflections. And later on, Insomniac did implement the RT performance mode, which gave a good balance of both modes. I tried out all of these modes. The performance mode gave me the best gameplay hands down. The 60 frames per second was amazing and so fluid. Then the fidelity mode was just gorgeous and perfect for taking high quality photos. But I have to say, I ended up sticking with the RT performance mode, which overall gave a better balance of both modes in my opinion. I also want to add that the lighting was vastly improved in the remastered version, including the opening mission of the game where you go take down Wilson Fisk just as the sun begins to rise. And the lighting really looks perfect for that early morning look. I'd love to see more dynamic lighting and weather in the future for Spider-Man games moving forward. Speaking of weather, this is a small detail, but the rainy days in New York looked amazing. It was awesome to see such detailed individual rain particles flying at you as you swing through New York City. So let's get into my pretty minor gripe that I had with my experience in Spider-Man Remastered. One of the selling points of the PS5 was its controller, and I have no problem with the controller at all. In fact, it's pretty amazing. But I didn't get the experience I was expecting with the controller in this game. I didn't notice a huge difference between this controller and the PS4 controller. There was almost no trigger resistance at all. And after playing other games such as NBA 2K22 where the triggers became so hard to press when your players got tired, I feel like the ball was dropped on this one. That's just me comparing Spider-Man to other games I've played. I've even played the first mission of Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I have to say that the controller feels much better on that game as opposed to Spider-Man Remastered. So what exactly happened there? My only guess is that Insomniac was able to put in more work towards Spider-Man Miles Morales as it was going to be its big launch title with the PS5. I could be wrong, but overall, I was slightly disappointed with it. But that's just about it for negatives that I have for this game. Overall, the game just seems a lot more polished, and I am here for it. The game was definitely worthy of a next-gen remaster. I also want to say that I love the additions to the photo mode, giving players the ability to alter the lighting and change the suits within photo mode was awesome. They did have that on Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS4, but it was nice to see that on Spider-Man Remastered as well. And regarding suits in this game, I've definitely enjoyed getting to use the suits that were exclusive to the PS5. I'm a big fear of missing out person, so when it got announced that the No Way Home suits would be a PS5 exclusive, I was pretty bummed, because obviously at that time I did not own a PS5. But now that I've got to mess around with the suits and had my fun with them, I'm pretty satisfied with how they look in the game. So if you do not own a PS5 yet, my heart is with you because it was a long journey for me as well before I got mine. But I highly recommend playing the remastered version once you do get a PS5. It's definitely worth it. And to all of my PC gamers out there considering buying Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, please do it. The remastered version is phenomenal, and I'm honestly a little jealous that a large group of you guys in the gaming community will get to experience this game for the first time. But please do enjoy it and check out Spider-Man Miles Morales once the game does release on PC. I promise you'll have a great time with it. Speaking of Miles Morales, I have just started playing it on the PS5, so if you would like me to do a review detailing my experience with it, then please let me know and I will certainly do one if you'd like. Also, if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. If you look at my channel, you'll see that I pretty much only talk about Marvel Spider-Man. I'm getting so hyped for Marvel Spider-Man 2, and I've been making so many videos regarding it. I've done wishlist videos and theory videos left and right for it. So if that sounds good to you, please do hit that subscribe button to join in on the hype for the game. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.